morning, everyone. Welcome to Delta Entertainment. I am your host, Lincoln Kenobi. And right now, we're going to be talking about what has been happening with Rebel Moon. So, yes, the Rebel Moon that was coming out on Netflix, the Rebel Moon that has been a very big, very disappointment for everyone. So, let's open up the article and then let me discuss what I've known through the years. So, Rebel Moon, the title is Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon VR game coming from Sandbox despite Netflix film failures. Now, Zack Snyder, who used to work on the Snyderverse of DC, left because of what happened with his family. I think one of his children had a suicide attempt, I think it was, and they couldn't finish the project of the Justice League movie. So forgot the damn director that did Josh Whedon, who did the Avengers movie, took over the Justice League movie and kind of made it into like an Avengers movie thing, which did not work out in theaters very well. So Zack Snyder, he came back. He did the Snyder director's cut, the Snyder's cut for Justice League, and the Snyderverse cut was pretty good. I liked it. It had more fight scenes and everything, so it was a pretty good movie. But despite that, the Snyderverse films, the Snyderverse series, it didn't work out very well for DC. So of course James Gunn took over that. But Zack Snyder had an idea for Lucasfilm to do a similar like Star Wars movie, and Kathleen Kennedy turned it down. So Netflix took it over, and when Rebel Moon came out, to me at first, it was good. But of course, for Zack Snyder, we all know him. He did a director's cut now for part one. And then when part two came out, I saw it and I was a bit disappointed with the movies. So I don't think there's going to be no point in doing a director's cut for part two, or there's going to be a part three, because right now it doesn't look like that this is going to happen, bro. And I wouldn't even recommend playing the game if they're ever going to get it out there. So let's discuss this article. Sandbox VR announced an ambitious collaboration with Netflix to bring Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon series into the virtual reality space. The project, described as an interactive VR game, aimed to expand the universe of Snyder's sci-fi epic into a fully immersive adventure for fans. The problem, there aren't many fans left to care. Exactly. I mean, I think I think Zack Snyder lost his touch, man. He's lost his touch in filming. And I did like his filming when he did The Immortals, The Watchmen, Army of the Dead, and I think he did Dawn of the Dead too, and I kind of liked that. But his recent films, and I did like the Man of Steel. I will say this: I liked the Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. I liked, but you know, after that, it's been very disappointing for him, man. And I feel sorry for the guy. But hey, let's move on. So, Rebel Moon series, which Netflix once hoped would become its own Star Wars style franchise, landed with all the grace of a lead balloon. Both films were panned by critics and audiences alike. The first installment failed to deliver any meaningful impact, and the sequel performed even worse. With Sandbox VR doubling down on the doomed franchise, one can't help but wonder who thought this was a good idea and why. According to Sandbox VR and Netflix, the Rebel Moon VR game promises players a chance to step into the world of Zack Snyder's sci-fi saga, wielding weapons for fighting battles in a fully immersive experience. If that sounds generic, it's because it is. Despite lofty promises, no concrete details have been shared. Players are left to imagine with what this interactive adventure might entail. Though, given the lukewarm reception of the source material, expectations are understandably low. While Sandbox VR has a solid track record of adapting popular franchises like Star Trek into VR experiences, this is not a popular franchise. The developers' decision to tie their fortunes to Rebel Moon feels like an odd gamble. For a platform dependent on fan enthusiasm and replayability, anchoring a project to a property that's already considered dead on arrival seems like a curious and risky move. When Zack Snyder unveiled his vision for Rebel Moon, he pitched it as a magnum opus, a sprawling space opera that would finally solidify him as a Hollywood archer free from the constraints of meddling studios. This was music to the ears of the vocal Snyder Bro fans who clamor for the director's dark, gritty vision of the DC universe. They've always firmly believed that the only reason why the DC Snyderverse failed was due to the Warner Brothers studio interference. Netflix bought into the hype, pouring millions into the production and marketing of the series, only to watch it crash and burn twice. So here's the review for the first Rebel Moon Part 1, The Child of Fire. Even the critics rated it bad. The film, released in late 2024, was a critical disaster. Reviewers lambasted its bloated new runtime, thin characters, and derivative storytelling, with some calling it a mismatch of better movies. And Snyder, at his most self-indulgent, audience's numbers were equally small, coming up short compared to movies like Murder Mystery 2, The Mother, Leave the World Behind, Heart of Stone, and You People. Hopes for redemption with the sequel, released just a few months later, were dashed when it performed even worse. Viewership metrics revealed a steep drop off, and the sequel couldn't even surpass the tepid performance of other Netflix misfires like Gal Gadot's Heart of Stone. For a franchise intended to rival the likes of Star Wars, the numbers were just disappointing. They were embarrassing. Adding insult to injury, Snyder's once promising Army of the Dead franchise has been shelved by Netflix after a relatively successful debut in 2021. The zombie heist film spawned spin offs and a planned animated series, but not gained meaningful traction. Following the implosion of Rebel Moon, Netflix appears to have lost confidence in Snyder's ability to helm successful franchises. This marks yet another blow to Snyder's career, which has struggled to recover from the high profile failures of his DC comic films. Though fans of the infamous Snyder Cut, the Justice League still champion his work, the collapse of Rebel Moon has shattered the myth of the Snyder as a misunderstood genius held back by evil studios. Given free reign on Rebel Moon, Snyder delivered 90 masterpieces, but a pair of uninspired flops that just failed to justify Netflix's massive investment. Rebel Moon VR game may be the final nail in the coffin for Snyder's sci-fi ambitions. While it's possible that Sandbox VR could create a compelling experience independent of the film's lackluster reception, the odds are stacked against them. With the franchise's tarnished reputation and little evidence of a passionate fan base clamoring for more, the project feels more like a contractual obligation than a genuine effort to expand the Rebel Moon universe. In an era when VR projects are thriving of beloved IPs with dedicated followings, tying Sandbox VR's fate to Rebel Moon seems like a baffling misstep. The question isn't whether the game will succeed, it's how much damage its strange gamble will do to Sandbox VR and Netflix as they continue searching for a viable franchise in their own galaxy far, far away. I If I were Sandbox, I would not try to put this out there, bro. Because if the franchise has failed, what's the point in trying to make it into the game? It's gonna fail, man. And if they do this, and if this game, if it does come out, I guarantee you, I don't think a lot of people will not buy this game. I think it'll be disappointing. So, you guys, let me know what you guys think in this article. So, thanks for being in this channel. Thanks for watching this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share this video, post a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button for me. All right, guys, thank you all so much. I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.